100,000 undocumented students graduate from high school every year. But as a result of the challenges associated with their immigration status, no more than 10% of them are able to pursue a higher education. Even when undocumented students are able to go to college, a small percentage persists toward graduation. In particular, across the United States, undocumented students do not have access to federal financial aid. They can be denied access to in-state resident tuition fees and even admissions. The absence of federal laws result in state-dependent policies and practices that impact the college persistence of undocumented students and result in different outcomes among this student group in the United States. My research examines the college access, persistence, and success of undocumented students. And it demonstrates that while some institutions and public colleges and universities may have an undocu-friendly reputation, undocumented students continue to encounter significant barriers as they transition from high school to college and as they navigate higher education. To advance the full participation of undocumented students, public colleges and universities should make it a priority to establish scholarship funds specifically for this student group. Presidents and provosts and other higher rank administrators should mandate development offices to create campaigns and establish donor relationships so that they can raise funds to cover the tuition of undocumented students at their campuses. This will alleviate the number one barrier to college persistence and success among this student group, and will also promote their persistence by creating undocu-serving institutions that not only admit them, but that support them and retain them as they complete their degrees. Another recommendation is to conduct policy reviews at the institutional level to understand if there are any procedures in place that may unintentionally affect negatively the persistence of undocumented students. Colleges and universities should conduct policy reviews in all departments, academic units, in all divisions, and try to understand if admission policies, institutional financial aid policies, and even major requirements are negatively impacting the persistence of students and adding to the barriers that they encounter in college. Grounded in my research, these are just a few of the recommendations that will advance the full participation of undocumented students in the U.S. and promote their college access, persistence, and success. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Liliana Garces, Associate Professor at University of Texas at Austin. I want to start this challenge by first defining the concept of full participation. In a racially and ethnically diverse democracy like ours, full participation means having a society where individuals of all races and ethnicities are involved in creating and shaping the policies that govern us all. Yet we know that is not what we currently have. Instead, we have a system of racial hierarchy where the majority of people in those positions of power and influence, like congresspeople, doctors, lawyers, researchers, scientists, are white. And I truly believe in the power of our education system to change this and to promote full participation. Yet we know that often educational systems have often perpetuated the existing system with policies and practices that systematically exclude people of color from those roles. And the legal system has played a very major role in this, with policies like affirmative action, for example, policies that were intended originally to help promote full participation. Legal cases have really changed the definition of the policy to protect the interest of whites within the current legal system. And that's to maintain a process of admissions that systematically ensures that predominantly white students continue to attend the most selective institutions that are those pathways to positions of power and influence in our society. In light of this reality, we require two major efforts, one of which is to really help influence the outcome of these legal cases in ways that are informed by research. research that supports the constitutionality of affirmative action as originally intended, and to show that it's necessary for furthering educational missions. The second is having institutional actors implement and interpret these decisions in ways that are race conscious, that acknowledge the ways that history has shaped our current reality, and how current practices can really perpetuate these racial hierarchies. Legal decisions gain their meaning via individuals who interpret what they mean and implement them on the ground. So to provide just one quick example, when we think about the concept of diversity and educational benefits that come with it, it's important to understand that it's not just about numbers, but it's also about the educational experiences that we provide students, both for students of color to feel fully part of the educational community, but also for white students to understand and address the stereotypes and prejudices that they might have against people of color, and to understand how they may have gained from a system that privileged them throughout their educational journey, and to become invested in changing those very systems. I'm Liliana Garces, and I thank you for listening.